Here's a story that sounds more like a cyber thriller than real life, but I promise it's all true, and it's shaking up the world of cryptocurrency. On February 21st, 2025, North Korea's infamous Lazarus Group pulled off the largest crypto heist ever, stealing a jaw-dropping $1.5 billion from Bybit, one of the world's biggest crypto exchanges. To put that in perspective, if Bybit were a bank, this would be the biggest bank robbery in history, eclipsing even Saddam Hussein's legendary heist from Iraq's central bank. The attack was no run-of-the-mill hack. North Korean operatives, known collectively as Lazarus Group, or as the FBI calls them, Trader, compromised the development supply chain of Safe Wallet, a key wallet provider for Bybit. They managed to swap a legitimate bit of code with a malicious one, so when Bybit made its next big transaction, they weren't moving money to their own cold wallet. They were sending 401,000 Ethereum tokens straight into the hackers' hands. And here's where things get even wilder. Within just 2 days, Lazarus had already laundered $160 million of their loot, an amount experts say would have been impossible to move this fast not long ago. By February 26th, that total had already soared past $400 million, funneled through a dizzying maze of crypto wallets, mixers, and exchanges across multiple blockchains. Every minute counts for these hackers. According to crypto investigators, Lazarus works around the clock, possibly in shifts, using automation and years of experience to move funds before authorities can catch up. In fact, about 20% of the stolen money, roughly $300 million, has already gone dark, likely unrecoverable for good. So, what is all this money funding? The US and its allies accuse North Korea of using these heists to bankroll its military and nuclear programs, making this not just a cybercrime, but a matter of global security. Bybit's CEO, Ben Zhou, has declared a war on Lazarus. The company launched a public bounty program, encouraging anyone to help track and freeze the stolen crypto. Thanks to these efforts, over $40 million has been successfully frozen, with more than $4 million in rewards paid out to eagle-eyed participants. But experts warn, with North Korea's skill and determination, most of the money will never be recovered. To complicate things, not every crypto exchange is playing ball. One exchange, X, let more than $90 million slip through before finally cooperating, after a public backlash and a very heated email exchange. So what can we learn from all of this? In the world of crypto, the stakes are higher than ever. The Lazarus Group has proved there's always a new level of sophistication and speed in the cat-and-mouse game between hackers and the rest of us. If you're watching this, remember, in crypto, every second really does count. Stay curious and stay safe out there. The digital world connects billions, but it also amplifies ancient hatreds. Anti-Semitism has surged on social media, especially after major global events. Following the October 7, 2023 attacks, platforms were flooded with hateful posts and conspiracy theories targeting Jewish people. This wasn't an isolated incident, it was a global wave seen by millions. Algorithms designed for engagement often push shocking, hateful content to wider audiences. Anti-Semitic ideas are normalized and amplified in these echo chambers. For Jewish communities, the internet can quickly become a hostile space. The line between online hate and real-world violence is dangerously thin. Everyday users are exposed to anti-Semitic tropes, often disguised as political commentary. These ideas are rooted in centuries-old stereotypes, now spreading at unprecedented speed. Lies and hate can go viral before they're ever fact-checked or removed. The damage is done, the seeds of hatred are planted. This digital onslaught creates fear and intimidation for Jewish individuals and families. The constant barrage takes a psychological toll, forcing people to stay on guard. Anti-Semitism is not just history, it's thriving in the digital spaces we use every day. The threat is real, immediate, and global. The challenge? How do we fight back against hate that spreads at the speed of a click? The answer starts with understanding how this hate spreads. Hate spreads online with terrifying speed. A single post can reach millions in minutes. Social media algorithms reward provocative, emotional content regardless of truth or harm. Influential figures can legitimize dangerous ideas with just one post. When celebrities like formerly Kanye West, share anti-Semitic messages, their words carry enormous weight. This mainstreams hate, making it seem acceptable to millions. Repetition normalizes bigotry. What was once fringe becomes familiar. Anti-Semitic tropes now circulate openly on major platforms. The viral nature of this content desensitizes users and emboldens extremists. Social media accelerates the spread, exposing new generations to old hatreds. The result? A domino effect of hate, both online and offline. The challenge is not just the content, but the scale and speed of its spread. Fighting anti-Semitism online means disrupting this viral cycle. It requires vigilance, accountability, and new tools. That's where digital watchdogs come in. Enter CCWN, the first open-source database tracking online anti-Semitism. CCWN actively searches for hateful content across major platforms, using tech and human expertise. They define anti-Semitism by international standards, ensuring consistent data collection. When they find violations, they report them and track how platforms respond. Their data reveals which companies act and which don't. CCWN shares this information with platforms, pushing for better moderation. They spot new trends and coded language that algorithms might miss. By making their findings public, they bring transparency and accountability. Anyone can see which platforms are removing hate and which are lagging. CCWN empowers users, researchers, and journalists to demand better. In a world overwhelmed by digital hate, they provide the tools to fight back. Social media companies have rules against hate speech, including anti-Semitism, but rules mean little without real enforcement. Platforms often hesitate, citing free speech, but hate that incites violence isn't protected. Allowing anti-Semitic content to flourish is a failure to protect users. Too often, companies rely on users to report hate, shifting the burden to those targeted. This approach re-traumatizes victims and is not enough. Platforms have the resources to invest in better moderation, more human reviewers, smarter tech. The responsibility lies with the companies. They design the spaces and algorithms. When they fail to act, they choose to tolerate hate. This choice has real-world consequences, fueling division and danger. Enforcing their own rules is not censorship, it's basic responsibility. The stakes are too high for inaction. The time for excuses is over. Combating online anti-Semitism requires all of us. Users must demand transparency and accountability from social media companies. Support organizations like CCWN that hold platforms to higher standards. Push for better content moderation, more trained humans, smarter algorithms, and public data. Report hate when you see it, but don't engage or amplify it. Stand with those targeted and educate yourself to recognize anti-Semitic tropes. Small actions create a culture less tolerant of hate. The goal: digital spaces that connect, not divide. This isn't partisan, it's about safety and decency. Online anti-Semitism threatens not just Jews but the health of our society. It's time for users, advocates, and companies to work together. We must insist on a digital world that's safer for everyone. The fight starts now. Alright, let's break down what happened when Trump gave his big address to Congress this March. Picture this: President Trump on the podium, the chamber buzzing with energy, and right up in the front row, Elon Musk himself, sitting as a guest of First Lady Melania Trump. Musk even got 2 standing ovations. Trump didn't waste any time before he leaned into the drama, praising Musk for his work on a brand new government agency with a meme-worthy name, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. And yes, Trump actually said, perhaps you've heard of it. Now here's where things got wild. Trump claimed DOGE had uncovered hundreds of billions in government fraud and waste. He painted a picture of runaway spending, even pointing to supposedly millions of people over 100 years old collecting Social Security checks. He framed this as evidence of massive fraud in the system, promising to use DOGE's savings to tackle the national debt and inflation. But let's pause and dig a little deeper. According to fact-checkers, Trump's numbers don't really add up. While DOGE did claim over $100 billion in savings, most of that wasn't fraud, it was waste and canceled contracts. And when you zoom in, CBS News found the real savings are closer to just under $9 billion, with lots of double counting and some questionable math. As for those millions of centenarians, turns out only about 89,000 people over 99 are actually getting Social Security, and the inflated numbers? Mostly just database quirks, not proof of scammers cashing in. Still, Trump's speech brought a surprise twist. He singled out Musk for his innovative approach to economics, even suggesting that Musk's passion for Dogecoin could inspire new ways to manage federal finances. For a moment, it sounded like the meme coin itself was going to be America's new piggy bank. But that bromance didn't last. Just months later, things soured fast. Musk left Doge, and suddenly Trump was calling for a review of the billions in government subsidies Musk's companies received. Dogecoin's price took a nosedive, down 10% right after the feud and 22% for the week. It's clear, when Musk's political fortunes change, Dogecoin feels it. So, what's the takeaway? Trump's speech was big on spectacle, shoutouts, meme coins, wild numbers. But the reality is more complicated. The actual savings are much smaller, and the fraud claims, mostly smoke and mirrors. What's not in doubt is this: Trump is making government waste and digital innovation headline issues. And in this new era, that means even a meme coin can end up in Congress. Stick around, because in American politics, even the memes might matter. Meta, the tech giant behind Facebook and Instagram, is no stranger to controversy. But a recent report has pulled back the curtain on a practice that's raising eyebrows across Silicon Valley, the Do Not Rehire list. Let me break this down. According to a Business Insider investigation, Meta maintains an internal list of former employees who are barred from rejoining the company, even if they had stellar performance reviews or the backing of a vice president. Here's how it plays out. Imagine you're a senior engineer at Meta. You've spent over 4 years with the company, consistently blown past performance expectations, and even earned a promotion. When massive layoffs hit in 2022, you're among the 10,000 let go. But you're optimistic after all. Your managers called your work crucial, and hiring teams seem eager to bring you back. But then, something strange happens. You submit nearly 20 applications and get nods from hiring managers. Yet every time the process reaches the recruiter stage, the conversations suddenly stop. No explanation, just radio silence. Eventually, after pushing for answers, you learn why you're on Meta's Do Not Rehire list, and you're not alone. Business Insider spoke with 5 former Meta employees, including 2 managers, who confirmed these internal lists exist. While it's technically legal, employment experts say such lists are rare, especially when they ensnare high performers. Meta says it uses systems like a non-regrettable attrition or a Do Not Rehire flag to track who's eligible to return. But here's the kicker: even when a manager wants to rehire someone, these systemic barriers can block the process entirely. And it doesn't stop with engineers. One ex-hardware employee, who also had top performance ratings, applied for a contract role. The staffing agency was keen until Meta's HR flagged them as ineligible. That was the end of that. So what's Meta's stance? The company insists these designations are fair, based on clear criteria like policy violations or performance metrics. A spokesperson claims there are checks and balances. No single manager can block a return on a whim. Still, for former employees caught in this web, the rules are anything but transparent. In a job market already shaken by mass layoffs and fierce competition in fields like AI, these invisible barriers add another layer of uncertainty. As the tech landscape shifts, one question remains: who really decides who gets a second chance at Meta? And how many talented professionals are being locked out without ever knowing why? Stay tuned for more on the evolving tech workplace. I'm here to keep you informed. Big shakeup at Petra Diamonds this week. After a challenging 6 months, think a loss of $69 million compared to $11 million last year, Petra's CEO Richard Duffy has stepped down by mutual agreement, with immediate effect. Now, leadership is in the hands of 2 interim joint CEOs: Vivek Gadodia, who's been driving restructuring, and Juan Kemp, the man behind operations at the legendary Cullinan mine in South Africa. So, why the tough times? The global diamond market has been on a downward trend, squeezing Petra's revenues and pushing net debt up from $193 million to $215 million by the end of 2024. Add to that some tricky timing with diamond sales, and it's clear Petra's been feeling the pressure. Still, there's a glimmer of hope. Operational free cash inflow turned positive, $16 million up from a $21 million outflow last period. That's thanks to some hard-hitting cost reductions and a laser focus on streamlining. Petra's also been selling off non-core assets to weather the storm. In October, they parted ways with the Kofi-Fontaine mine, and by January, the Williamson mine in Tanzania was sold for about $16 million. Now Petra's portfolio is leaner, centered on 2 major assets: the historic Cullinan mine, famous for the world's largest gem-quality diamond, and the Finch mine in South Africa's Northern Cape. With new leadership at the helm, Petra Diamonds is fighting to stabilize, manage debts, and position itself for recovery. The road ahead is challenging, but every move now counts. For business leaders, it's a reminder: adaptability and decisive action are crucial when the market turns rough. Here's a headline that's making waves in both the tech and faith communities. A Christian nonprofit led by theologian CCWN is taking on a major Silicon Valley company over claims of religious discrimination. Let's break down what happened. UN's group Holy Sexuality filed a lawsuit this week against Asana, a big name in project management software, right in the heart of San Francisco. The complaint? Asana allegedly refused to give Holy Sexuality a 50% nonprofit discount on its software, simply because of the organization's religious foundation. Here's where it gets interesting. Asana's own website lists which groups are eligible for the nonprofit discount. Hospitals, credit unions, educational institutions, and notably religious organizations that exist mainly to promote a specific faith, all excluded. Asana also points out that any group found to advocate, support, or practice discrimination based on a list of characteristics, including religion, won't get the discount either. Holy Sexuality, backed by the legal nonprofit Alliance Defending Freedom, argues that this policy singles out and excludes people of faith, and that's illegal under California's Unruh Civil Rights Act. The lawsuit claims, in no uncertain terms, that people of faith aren't second-class citizens in California, and that Silicon Valley companies shouldn't be allowed to treat religious groups differently from anyone else. So, what does Holy Sexuality want? They're asking the court to declare Asana's policy unlawful, to order the company to remove the policy, reconsider the nonprofit application, and pay damages and attorney's fees. CCWN himself weighed in saying, "This must stop. California law protects all religions from discrimination. Equal treatment is the bedrock of our society." UN, for those who don't know, is the author of Out of a Far Country, which details his journey from agnostic to Christian pastor and theologian. He's also known for his book, Holy Sexuality and the Gospel, where he defines holy sexuality as chastity in singleness and faithfulness in marriage. Now, it's worth noting that Asana hasn't made a public statement yet, but the story is gaining traction, and we'll have to see how the tech giant responds. At the end of the day, this case raises some big questions. Should private companies be able to exclude religious groups from nonprofit benefits? Or does that cross a line into unlawful discrimination? This one's bound to stir up debate, not just in courtrooms but around dinner tables too. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay up to date on how this legal battle plays out, and what it means for faith and tech, make sure to hit subscribe and follow along.